KSFR Coffin Radio.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Coffin Radio. I am Heartthrob Rob, and joining me today from LAX Fan Fest is the one and the only Chris Van Vliet. How you doing, brother?
Heartthrob Rob. That's so good. By the way, what a great shirt.
Oh, you like that?
Every time I see this, I just think, Waluigi! From like Mario Kart. Waluigi!
I love those games, man. I'm huge on that kind of stuff. But, dude, it seems like everywhere I go now in regards to Southern California wrestling, you're popping up doing your thing, man.
I've been here about 2 years now. I just moved here, and I've always loved California. I've always loved LA. I've been spending a bunch of time out here for work, and it just kind of made sense to finally be out here. So I love it out here. The wrestling fans out here, the wrestling scene out here is great. So, man, I can't complain.
Right, exactly. How have things been for you today so far since you've gotten in? I mean, we have a lot of AEW people. How are things for you?
What a lineup. And I was at AEW Rampage last night.
Oh, very cool.
So, yeah, a lot of the people that were there are here today.
Yeah.
But for the Hardy Boys to be the main event, what are they announcing right now? This could be really... Adam Cole and Britt Baker. I mean, come on. Baby. You can't say Adam Cole without saying baby.
It's very cool that they have like just a huge lineup here today. So it's cool. I mean, I love wrestling. Like I said, I see you everywhere. How did you first fall in love with wrestling and get into that?
I was like aware of it growing up, but when I was 16, so late 90s, Attitude Era, my best friend at the time, his name was Vince. And he loved wrestling, massive wrestling fan. And we did this crazy thing in the 90s. When you had a best friend, you did this thing called talking on the phone. Yeah, isn't that wild? That's how phones actually work for that too. So I knew that every Monday at 9 o'clock, our calls would abruptly come to an end because that's when Raw was starting. And then one Monday I said, we're not done talking about this. I'll just turn it on, we'll watch, and then during the next commercial break, we'll continue our conversation. And I got sucked into it. And it was Austin McMahon was the big storyline at the time. And I just, when I love something and I'm passionate about something, I dive all the way in. I don't go halfway. I just dive all the way in, don't check the depth or the temperature of the water, just go all the way in. So I went from watching zero wrestling to watching everything like Raw and Nitro and SmackDown and Jacked in Metal and Heat and pay-per-views and everything like that.
I mean, there was nothing better than the Attitude Era. Being a teenager in the Attitude Era, you know what I mean? I love it, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. But you do a lot more than just wrestling. How did you get into interviewing, all that? I mean, when did that bug come in and, get you into college for that or whatever it might have been?
So I had a communication studies class in high school. And I was like, I can't believe that I can earn a credit by basically making television. We had a studio inside our high school, and you rotated around the different positions. So it was camera to VTR to audio to floor director and everything. And then you also were on air as well. And I just loved this idea. So when it came time to pick a college major, and that's the crazy thing. You're 17 years old, and you're basically asked, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That communications class was pretty funny, or pretty fun. So that was kind of where it began. I took communication studies. I had a dream and a goal to work in broadcasting, but for me, it felt like a huge long shot to try to do that. But I figured, I got to try. So my final year of college, I applied, or I reached out to every radio station and every TV station in my college town and just said, can I come in and just volunteer and see how it works in the real world?
Yeah.
And that's how I got my start, just by making myself available. And it was a small news station at first, and then I started working in entertainment news, and I've been so fortunate, man, to interview everybody I've looked up to. And I just did an interview yesterday with Jeff Goldblum. I have an interview tomorrow with Kevin Hart. It's been so much fun to be able to do this for a living.
Dude, I mean, it sounds amazing. You put your foot forward and you got your foot in the door, you know what I mean? And we're able to get where you wanted to be or move up the ranks at least and keep putting progression. You bring up some of these big interviews you had. What was the first big interview that you had that was kind of whoa, this is crazy?
So I'll tell you the first real celebrity interview I did. I had been working at this small town station in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, Chex TV, and I was doing local news. My next job after that was MTV2 Canada.
Wow.
My second day of work, they're like, you're going to spend the day with this rapper, Chingy. Remember Chingy?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And it was funny because in that moment, I wasn't nervous or worried. I was just kind of yeah, of course, that's my assignment. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. But I'd say the first interview where I was oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. One was The Rock. The Rock meant so much to me growing up, being a huge wrestling fan. So that was one, and he was so nice and so kind. He's everything you wanted to be. And then also Tom Cruise, like to be able to share some time with him, it was pretty cool.
That's cool, man. And I always love like the clips that you have with The Rock and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you got The Rock, you got Tom Cruise. What are some of the other celebrities or people that you've interviewed? You know, if you could just, not the Chris list, but just crazy names that hop off your head.
Oh,
like,
man.
Whoa.
Oprah, Denzel Washington,
Oh, my gosh.
Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kevin Hart I just mentioned. Like, I've been very, very fortunate. Like, great directors like Steven Spielberg. Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
And I want to be able to go into every conversation and try to pluck a little bit of knowledge out of them. Selfishly, because I want to know. But then, you know, hopefully people that are watching can also, you know, take that same piece of knowledge.
Yeah, and dude, you're so personable. You know, I've known you for a couple years now. You know, it's always much love. But even with these interviews that you do with people that aren't me, you know what I mean? That are huge, you know, that are ginormous. Like, it's so personal, and you guys have such a repertoire. Like, what is your mindset going into like an interview of like, what can I do, or how can I make this better for both of us, or whatever?
My mindset's just, let's have a conversation. It's just, let's have a conversation. I want to learn about you. And if there's something that's out there that maybe was reported incorrectly about them, I want to clear that up as well. But I think the biggest thing is just listen. And I think that so many people in interviews don't listen. They're just selfishly kind of in it for themselves. And I just want to think of like, now look, I just think to myself of like, if this is interesting to me, is it also going to be interesting to other people watching? And my hope is that the answer to that's always yes.
That's cool, man. And I mean, you've done what I would consider a bucket list for damn near anyone, you know, but what other people would you like to, you know, get to the chance to interview? If you even have any, I'm sure you do.
No, there's so many. Like, I am such a huge fan of Christopher Nolan and the films that he makes. I mean, I can't even imagine spending an hour with Christopher Nolan and just like picking his brain apart. Arnold Schwarzenegger's one on my list. I would always love to, you know, love to talk to him. And if, you know, being a wrestling fan, Vince McMahon. Like, and I want to talk to Vince McMahon, the man. Like, I don't want to ask him about storylines. I want to talk to Vince like the person. What time does he wake up? What does his workout look like? Like, what's his travel day look like? I'm so curious to find out more about the man behind the curtain. Like, he's quite literally the man behind the curtain. He's like the real life Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the way he is. I mean, the conglomerate that he's, you know, gotten for himself. He's definitely the man behind Gorilla. So,
yeah.
Well, that's very cool, man. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming onto the show. Thank you for always being so cool, and to see your interviews and see all that, man. You're putting out great content, and I love it.
Well, likewise, man. And like, keep up the great work.
I'm trying, brother. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Where can people follow you on social media, and do you have any shout outs or anything like that?
It's just my name, at Chris Van Vliet. So wherever you're watching this, I'm sure you can find me. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Of course, brother. Thank you, man. Anything upcoming that you want to tell people about before we go?
Look, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'd be awesome if you could do that. There's some great interviews coming up. Like I mentioned a few of them. I had an interview tomorrow with Kevin Hart, Jeff Goldblum yesterday, Adam Sandler the day before that, Chris Hemsworth next week. So, and then the wrestling world, I had Ethan Page come by the studio. I had the Gun Club come by. So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff.
Very cool, man. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Dude, thank you.
I appreciate it. For Chris Van Vliet, I am Heartthrob Rob. And if you like what you're watching, then hop in the coffin. Follow us on social media at Coffin Radio. Coffin is spelled with a K. And that's all for today.
ASMR Coffin Radio.